was announced on 12 November that South Africa is getting a complete overhaul of the immigration system. The Department of Home Affairs' Minister, Dr. Motsoaledi, published a white paper. The paper is about 170 pages long, and he's invited the public to participate and to comment in terms of the white paper. Of course, this is something that we'll be participating in. But first, there's some comments to make on the Minister's observations in the white paper. The first item that caught our attention as immigration specialists that deal with work visas for large corporates on a day-to-day basis is that the Minister is not happy about the negative press. And then secondly, what do you do if you need a visa? And obviously, we've had many visas issued where we've litigated against the Department of Home Affairs, all successfully. How does he feel about that? Effectively, it seems like he's indicating that there's no alternative but to litigate if we look at some of the comments that he makes. So let's do that now. On the first comment, in item 5, he says, and I quote, "No single day passes without print and electronic media reports about the failure and or weaknesses of the DHA regarding the migration system. Even the most visible achievements of the Department of Home Affairs are drowned by these endless negative reports." We do not get informed of these visible achievements are. We do not see that. There's no public announcements that we are aware of. Other government bodies like SARS will put out media releases that get distributed to practitioners where these achievements are noted. Then he goes on to say, apart from the said reports, the DHA spent significant amount of time and financial resources defending court challenges, which in most instances the DHA becomes second. Well, in our case, they've always come second, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Then he goes on to say there's several instances when the DHA has been slapped with court orders of which it has not been aware of proceedings. This must change as the fiscus cannot afford anymore. Let's just talk about that. I think point 1 is negative press is there for a reason. People struggle to get their visas currently. Let's chat about that. If you need a work visa, it is absolutely, you would have seen, he made a later announcement where he talked about there being no backlog on critical skills, which is kind of correct in terms of the applications you submit in South Africa. The department is set to prioritize study visas and critical skills visas, but they've got a massive backlog in other areas, which then fuels the negative comments. And also at embassy levels, we see lots of delays. So it's very difficult to make a general statement then in terms of the Department of Home Affairs to say they're doing a good job or they're doing a bad job. I think what is important for us is that when we submit a pack, it is always litigation ready. So we give them a chance and we give them the opportunity to deliver, but if they don't deliver, to simply try to keep calling them, emailing them, begging them to issue the visa doesn't work, and that's why we go to court. And that is an escalatory process. It's not there, certainly not in our case, to say that they are not aware of the proceedings. They are formally informed multiple times in an escalatory manner, formally delivered to them, which is signed for, so they do know. His officials might not tell him about it, but he cannot say that it was the Department of Home Affairs is not aware of proceedings. And if that is correct and the department is not aware of proceedings, the judge will never grant the order if you can't prove that they were notified. And if he has a court order with costs, which he was not aware of, he should just appeal against it. The appeal court will immediately give him the win if he can show that he was not aware of it. So this just confirms again, legally correct approach. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They are extremely good officials. But basically what he says is that this must change and the fiscus cannot afford it anymore. We agree with him. We agree with him and it should change. We have personally written to his office many times saying that what can we do about the court cases? Isn't there a better way? Can we carry it to an alternative forum so that we don't have to litigate? But if you want to come And if you want to come to South Africa, you want to come study, you want to come retire, you want to bring your spouse, or your family is being split up, or you need to bring in a critical resource into South Africa, you will always get the visa. But you cannot wait 2 years for that to happen. And then you follow a litigation approach. Not because you hate the Department of Home Affairs or you want to create negative press, but simply because you want to get your lawfully issued visa. So just as far as the paper is concerned, we will definitely run a couple of podcasts on that and comment on the different areas. I think what's important now for you is that if you are a large employer, there's a new initiative, the Trusted Employer Scheme. We've done many applications for some of our large corporate clients. We dropped some physically off earlier this week because the applications are closing on Monday, the 20th of November. We think they might open again because when we were there just yesterday, we saw there were only 4 or 5 other applications other than our own submissions that have been physically handed in. We'll see again on Monday when submissions close, when we drop off another set of applications to see how many there are then. But other than that, I think in closing, the most important thing in the current immigration landscape is if you need a work or residency visa, do not wait until next year before you start the process. Submit as soon as possible in a legally correct way, that you have a bit of time to get through the process. And if you've already submitted your application and you're not getting an outcome, continuing to wait for it simply doesn't yield results. It does cost a bit of money, but the value of a visa, it's your whole life, your business, your career. You'll absolutely get the visa if it's correctly submitted and you follow the process. At that level, the court system works and Home Affairs system works very efficiently when you approach it in that way. We hope it becomes easier, but that is the reality for now.